The Hudaybiya Truce, also known as the Treaty of Hudaybiya, holds immense significance in the history of Islam as it marks a crucial event during the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the early Muslim community. It took place in the 6th year of Hijra, 628 CE, between the Muslims of Medina, led by Prophet Muhammad, and the Quraysh tribe of Mecca. The backdrop of the Hudaybiya Truce was a period of tension and conflict between the Muslims and the Quraysh. The Muslims had migrated from Mecca to Medina to escape persecution and establish a new Muslim community. However, their departure from Mecca didn't sit well with the Quraysh leaders, who felt threatened by the growing influence and strength of the Muslim community in Medina. This led to several skirmishes and battles between the two sides. In the 6th year of Hijra, Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him and his followers, numbering around 1,400, decided to perform the pilgrimage, Hajj, to Mecca, a religious obligation for Muslims. Despite the risks involved, they were determined to fulfill this sacred duty. However, the Quraysh, fearing the potential political and religious implications of Muslims performing the pilgrimage, intercepted them at a place called Hudaybiya, outside Mecca. Negotiations ensued between the two sides, mediated by various intermediaries. Eventually, a truce was agreed upon, which came to be known as the Treaty of Hudaybiya. The terms of the treaty were seen as unfavorable to the Muslims at first glance. Some of the key terms included: 1. Peace for 10 years, both parties agreed to cease hostilities and maintain peace for a period of 10 years. 2. Ceasefire, there would be no fighting, raiding, or armed conflict between the Muslims and the Quraysh during this period. 3. Have free movement, the Muslims were granted the right to perform the pilgrimage the following year without any hindrance from the Quraysh. 4. No allies, the treaty allowed tribes to ally themselves with either the Muslims or the Quraysh, but it did not bind the parties to support each other. 5. Return of fugitives, the Quraysh would return any Muslim who fled from Mecca to Medina but did not force the Muslims in Medina to return any Quraysh member who sought refuge with them. At first glance, the terms of the treaty seemed to heavily favor the Quraysh, and some Muslims were discontented. However, the wisdom of Prophet Muhammad soon became apparent. The treaty provided a period of relative peace and stability, allowing the Muslims to consolidate their position and focus on internal affairs and spreading Islam peacefully. Moreover, the Treaty of Hudaybiya had several long-term strategic advantages for the Muslims. 1. Diplomatic triumph. The negotiation and conclusion of the treaty demonstrated the diplomatic skills of Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him and showed the strength and legitimacy of the Muslim community. 2. Expansion of influence. The peace allowed the Muslims to establish diplomatic relations with other tribes and regions, gradually expanding their influence beyond Medina. 3. Preparation for conquest. The treaty provided a respite during which the Muslims could prepare for future conquests. It allowed them to strengthen their military capabilities and alliances. 4. Conversion of Meccans. The peaceful interaction between the Muslims and the Quraysh during the truce period led to the conversion of many Meccans to Islam, as they witnessed the character and principles of the Muslim community firsthand. 5. Strategic retreat. Though it seemed like a setback initially, the terms of the treaty allowed the Muslims to retreat strategically without losing face, paving the way for future victories. The Treaty of Hudaybiya proved to be a turning point in the history of Islam. What initially appeared to be a compromise turned out to be a strategic masterstroke. Within 2 years of the truce, the Quraysh violated its terms, giving the Muslims a legitimate reason to resume hostilities. The peace allowed the Muslims to consolidate their strength and ultimately led to the conquest of Mecca in 630 CE, without significant bloodshed. The events surrounding the Treaty of Hudaybiya underscore the importance of patience, diplomacy, and strategic thinking in the face of adversity, principles that continue to resonate in Islamic teachings and history.